I'm going to hit record. All right, guys. Well, good evening. I think all of you know me, but I'm Caitlin Long from Team Lifelong Fitness representing tonight. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about creating killer success, and kind of where I got the idea is I've been listening to a lot of interesting topics throughout different podcasts, audiobooks, and personal development. And one of the things that kept coming up, it was how to be immensely successful. And in particular, I wanted to focus on Brendon Burchard's latest work, which is something called High Performance Habits. He just released a new book this month, and he also rebranded his podcast, which talks a lot about these different habits. Got the opportunity to actually listen to High Performance Habits excerpts from his new book on his podcast. So I wanted to go over some of that in this talk tonight. Hopefully I'll keep it nice, short and sweet and to the point for you guys, but I hope that you get some good takeaways from it. Hopefully you guys have your pen and paper ready and can take some notes and make some real life applications after the talk. Because motivation can only take you so far, but the real beauty in it is going to be action. So a little bit about me, because you guys may know me just from the team pages, but who am I? So I'm a wife, I'm a physician assistant, I have a master's degree. I'm currently working on my second master's degree with Master of Public Health. I am a Beachbody coach. I've gotten to Star Diamond. I've paid off my student loans. I'm on various alumni committees. I'm a homeowner. I love to travel, and I consider myself really lucky in these regards. But did these things all happen because of luck? I don't say these things to brag or try to inflate myself in any way. But I had to really stop and think, like, what kind of things make me me? What kind of things make me successful? And how did I get there? Obviously, it didn't happen overnight. And what sets people apart from being highly successful or high performers over the long term? So high performer really means to be consistently successful over the long term. So not only are they more successful, but they're less stressed. So there was this huge research database that Brendon Burchard and his entire team at High Performance Academy took, and they looked at high performers all around the world, all kinds of high-ranking individuals in different various fields, and not only are they more successful, they're less stressed, they're more confident that they're going to achieve their goals despite adversity. They have something called prolific quality output, meaning not only is their work, not only are they putting forth more work, but it's actually more excellent or more highly qualified work. They're passionate despite rewards. They are adaptive, no matter what adversity they have in their way. They're happier. They're healthier, and they're more likely to execute with the problem at hand. The interesting thing that they found about high performers all throughout the world was that it had nothing to do with strengths. So it actually has all to do with skills that you can develop over time. It doesn't have anything to do with any natural born talent or where you came from or what your past is or what your former story is. It's really interesting that you can actually hone in on these skills and develop them over time. So this is like world-class research that they found. I'm kind of a nerd. I love that stuff. So this can just lead, your strengths can lead as a pathway to the next level, but these are the things that will take you even further. So it doesn't matter if you were born an introvert or an extrovert or whatever. Those type of tests that you have taken in the past, your personality, do not let those be limiting factors on your success. And I'll break it down even further. He also talks about don't allow your mission to bow down to your human limiting beliefs. So I thought that was really powerful because whatever your greater good is, whatever your mission in life is supposed to be, don't set human limitations on that. So I thought that was really cool. So what does it take to really get it done? I've really kind of become obsessed with this high performance, and throughout the various leadership academies that I may have been a part of in the past, I've really found this to be so interesting because it is really applicable in any facet of life. And just to kind of tell you a little bit more about who this Brendon Burchard person is, he's written multiple books. He's one of the biggest high performance coaches in the world. He's actually Oprah's mentor, and he is actually on the cover of this month's Success magazine. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we talked about what a high performer is. He breaks it down into, they looked at every quality across the board. They looked at every habit across the board, and they narrowed it down actually to 6 specific habits that are going to really matter the most when it comes to being a high performer. So they're broken down even further into personal and social characteristics, but the personal characteristics are number 1. High performers seek more clarity. So these are going to be people who are asking more questions. They may be lifelong learners. They're always constantly asking for feedback. So always trying to say, hey, what could I do better in this scenario? They're always going to be an eternal student. Number 2, they generate more energy. They transition better. They don't wait for that lightning bolt of motivation to come get them. They generate the energy themselves. They can work up that needed level of energy and getting yourself excited for the next step. And no matter what comes their way, they're just ready to go and excited for the next step, even if it means that there's a transition. Number 3, raise necessity. And I'm going to talk about this one a little bit more in depth. But what I mean by this, what Brendon means by this, is you have to say that it is necessary for you to do well here. So ask yourself in every scenario where you need to put forth your best effort, who needs my A game today? So when it comes to your coaching business, when you're sitting there thinking, should I send that invite, or should I ask this person, or do I want to reach out about the coaching opportunity? Ask, who needs my A game? Make it necessary. I have to send these invites, or, I have to do well in this. Not to put extra pressure on yourself, but who else needs you? So definitely correlates with motivation. Again, this is going to be creating motivation, not waiting for it to happen to you. So I thought that was really cool to ask yourself that question. So those are more of the personal habits that you can develop over time that will help you to be a high performer over the long term. But the next 3, so number 4 is going to be increased productivity. So that a lot of these things are going to sound like no-brainers, but common sense isn't always common practice, right? So I hope that you guys really take these things into consideration and try to keep working on these skills. So increasing productivity, almost to the point where you're becoming obsessed with it. I know a lot of us are list makers, and we make vision boards and goals and all of these big things, but obviously they mean nothing if we're not doing what it takes to get it done. So productivity, one of the things that you do is you make the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. So you're just focusing on that one task at hand, getting it done right. Focus on the things that are moving the needle forward. So you're not going to, just check off the things on your list that are the easiest tasks or the smallest tasks. You're actually going to do the things that are getting you closer to your goals. Number 5, develop influence. So they noticed over time that high performers developed influence. So not only are they doing the things that they need to do to make themselves successful, but they are being role models to do that as well, whether they know it or not. So they're constantly teaching people how to think like them. They're challenging people. And they're encouraging people to try more, to do more, to be more, achieve more. So that I hope that you guys are remembering that as a coach. You are such a role model, whether you realize it or not. So when you're, if you do make that decision to not send the invite, or not make that social media post, or not be a product of the product, or whatever it is that you're slacking on or making excuses about, which I am so guilty of this too. You have to remember that who are you, not showing up and bringing your A game for, and who are you losing out on the chance to influence or make their life better. So that, I think, digs a little bit deeper for me personally when I think of it that way, is it's not just about me and my priorities, but it's for a bigger purpose. And the sixth habit that they found that was, something that could be conscious and deliberate and something we can hone in on is developing courage. So we've been talking a lot about Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, and actually we're starting a free group on this coming up, which I'm really excited about. But one of the things that she talks about with developing courage is just do it, like Nike says. So she counts down and she says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and whatever it is going on in your life, whether it's just something as simple as the alarm going off and you not pressing snooze and taking that countdown to hop out of bed, or if it's being nervous to raise your hand in class and doing that countdown and just blast off doing it, that's going to be ways to actually develop courage, demonstrate courage, ways that you're always standing up for the right thing. You're running your business with integrity. So meaning, are you doing the things that you're supposed to do without anybody looking? Are you, really putting your best self forward no matter what? No matter, is your upline telling you to do it, or are you just doing it automatically on your own? So you stand up for yourself, you stand up for others more, you let people know that you have their back. So that's going to be the sixth habit, is you're developing courage. So he talked about different ways to actually put these things into practice to help you recall these habits. And one of the simplest ways that I thought was a great idea, and I actually did it on my phone, is I want you guys to take out your phones if you have them. And I want you to set your alarm. I want you to close your eyes right now and think of the 3 things that you want to be that are going to help you put your best foot forward. So whatever those 3 type of qualities that you want to embody, what are the 3 words that are going to describe you, that are going to help launch you forward? Whatever those 3 words are, I want you to set it as your alarm. And you're going to have this go off as your alarm every day. So maybe you do this already. Maybe it's a mantra or an affirmation. But he actually suggests doing it 3 times a day. Because it's just going to be bringing it into your subconscious. Because how many different things does your phone buzz and remind you to do? This is something simple that you can help bring it into from your subconscious to your conscious. So for instance, when I get up for work, one of Penn State's mottos is lead, serve, inspire. And I think that that's something that I really want to do. So I actually have that as my alarm for when I wake up in the morning. And one of the other things that I committed to for this year was, we at the beginning of the year, we thought about words we wanted to embody as well. And mine were 3 F's, fierce, focus, and fearless. So I put in my alarms, actually, I am fierce, fearless, focus, and that one goes off in the evening. So it's just kind of a reminder of something really simple you can do to help bring those habits into practice. So I thought that one was great. So making sure that you're being intentional about it. Is that helpful so far? All right, cool. So some of the other things that Brendan had talked about was 5 personal musts for motivation and success. He was just so energized when he talked about this at Summit, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. But what he talked about was, in these 5 personal musts, again, it kind of goes back to that specific habit we already talked about with raising the necessity. So I must do this because, or I must do this even without having that second part, just having that innate desire to do something more. So number 1, I must raise my ambitions. So this means refusing to settle. Stop diminishing your dreams. Never limit yourself. Just because someone told you something in the past or wherever you're from. Again, his studies have shown that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your background is, that success will come to you if you go after it. So continue to strive for your goals. Number 2, say, I must live every day with intention. So do you find yourself just going through the motions, or are you living your life fully, completely, authentically, joyously? Are you being the best version of you that you can be? Remember that you are enough. Number 3, I must no longer fear rejection. So again, this kind of goes back to the 5-second rule, but right before you're sending that invite out, who are you not helping when you are being fearful of who may say no? So remember, we kind of think probability and statistic wise that maybe 1 out of 10 people say yes. But what if your coach didn't reach out to you as that 1 out of 10 people that said yes? Where would you be today without them? Or even if it's not coaching, what if that person didn't reach out to you to join XYZ? So you must no longer fear rejection. Statistically, more people accept you, even if they're not necessarily joining you on your team or your journey right now. They very well may be following you. They're still your friend on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. They're still rooting for you. And just because they said no, again, it doesn't mean no forever. It just may mean not right now. So remember, who could you be inspiring or helping every day with those daily actions, those vital behaviors? Number 4, I must jump in and face my fear. So I know we're talking a lot about fears here, but listen through your fears, acknowledge them, but be mindful and have that kind of metacognition, meaning you're thinking about your thinking, and try to get down to the root of why you're having those fears. When you have a fear, you're right at the edge of your growth. So fear is not necessarily a bad thing, but when you get out of your comfort zone, that's where the magic happens. So jump in, face your fear. And number 5, I must fight for what I believe. And I kind of want to change this into I must fight for someone I believe in or someone I love. Because again, it's really easy, and we've talked about this before, it's really easy to give up on ourselves, right? I didn't feel good that day, I didn't have the motivation, or there's so many excuses we love to make for ourselves. But when you have that why that's about something bigger or someone else other than yourself, again, that's where you're going to see yourself flourish. So think about your why, and that's going to be something that's going to drive you every single day. If you're just saying, hey, I'm doing this for me, it's really easy to sometimes walk away. But when you're thinking about your loved one or someone you're letting down because you're not doing the actions you're doing, it's a lot easier to keep pushing on. So those are some of the biggest statistics that he had found in his research, is that these qualities, I shouldn't even say qualities, these habits. So when you're changing your behavior, you're changing these habits, and they're just going to become an action and almost a default when you're working on them every single day. And be conscious and intentional about it, and you're going to see high performance in your life. So those are really the biggest tips, the biggest takeaways that I had from his talks at Summit. I hope that's helpful. Do you guys have any questions about this at all?
Okay, for the ways to implement those habits, I got the last 4. What was the first one?
Seek clarity.
Oh, no. You were talking about live your life with intention.
I'm sorry. The 5 personal musts for motivation and success.
What was it?
Are you talking about the 5 personal musts for motivation and success? So number 1 was I must raise my ambitions.
Okay.
And then the next, I must live each day with intention. I must no longer fear rejection. I must jump in and face my fear. And I must fight for what I believe and love.
Got it.
And then just a reminder about the habits were seek clarity, generate energy, raise necessity, increase productivity, develop influence, and develop courage. Those are what they found that mattered the most in high performance. So it doesn't matter, where you came from or your background or your status or if you're female or male or anything like that. It just matters that you had these habits down. All right. So can I hear what your words are? I'd love to hear what your 3 words on your alarm are going to be.
Me?
Sure. You can go first. Guys, this is Caitlin. She's one of my new coaches.
Hi, everyone. So mine kind of go back to what I ended up putting on my Facebook page on my cover picture,
Okay.
which they're not 3 words exactly, but I feel like they're simple and they're easy to remember and get to the point. They're work hard, do your best, and have fun.
Nice.
Yeah, my parents always taught me to do my best, and sometimes that wasn't always. I always tried to be the best, and so
Yeah.
if you continue to tell yourself to just do your best, then you're never going to fail.
Right. Run your own race. That's for sure. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to ask Mary Beth, you're next. I'll unmute you.
I don't know. I'm still brainstorming on that, but I think courage, breathe, and I don't know. I got to think about my last one.
Okay. And this can always change too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. All right. Kathy, I see your beautiful face next.
Sorry, I'm like moving up and down the stairs. But I think mine, I have 2. Hard to be relentless, and then to be present. And then
Ooh.
I'm still figuring out what the last one is.
That's okay. And I mean, I just picked 3 because that's what he had recommended. But I think if 2 really resonate with you, I don't think that that's a problem. So that's cool. Nice. Being present is so important and so underrated, I think. Being really mindful about what you're doing and being in the moment as opposed to being so distracted. I think social media and kind of just the busy world we live in, it really takes away from human interaction and just being there. So that's a really good one. All right, Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hello. I went with being intentional, defeating my fears of picking up the phone, and being real.
Yes, I love that. Be real. So many photoshopped things nowadays, and I don't mean literally, just literally, because everything's filtered now, but just a lot of people kind of hide behind a social media or whatever facade they put up, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, okay. So I think it's so important to be 100% authentic, and that's where you're going to get your real tribe, your real followers, the people you want to work with for the long term. So that's great. All right, Ms. Brenda. I just unmuted you. Oh, I cannot hear you. You can type them if you want. Okay. While Brenda types, I'm going to go to Sammy.
All right, mine. This is one of my favorite presentations that you and I went to. So, so mine, I used to have it. It was impactful, driven, and present. Now I have one of my favorite quotes, and so I change it to. Do you guys? And if you need help, changing, I didn't know how to do it because I'm very not good at tech savvy stuff. But it's under label, so you have to actually set your alarm. It can't be one that's already set, and under label you have to put it. But now I put one of my favorite quotes, and it's "Let her sleep, for when she wakes, she will move mountains."
Ooh, that's a good one. Move mountains. I have a sign that says that in our bathroom.
I love that saying.
So it's like I have to see it every day. So that's really great. Awesome, Sam. And I like that too. It doesn't have to necessarily be the 3 words. It can be a quote, something that's going to inspire you to do these habits, be the best version of you. All right. Brenda picked present, powerful, and positive. She wanted to go with the 3 Ps. I love it. So good. So good. Oh, you are all of those things, Miss Brenda. All right. And then we have Colleen.
Well, I totally missed the whole beginning.
So the task is to pick 3 words or a couple, 2 words or something that you want to embody what your how you're going to become the best version of you, or the most successful you, the most enlightened, empowered, high-performing version of you. So Brendan Burchard, he's really big in the personal development world. He had recommended that you set those 3 words as your alarm on your phone multiple times a day, at least once a day, twice a day. So you're actually bringing it into your consciousness from your subconscious. And it's just a way that you can remind yourself to be that person that you want to be.
Okay. Well, I wrote down 3 words just based on what I thought you guys were doing. Cool. And one of the things that I came up with, which I kind of have on my Facebook page, is teach, motivate, and inspire.
Nice.
It's not so much for what I need to do, but what I'm trying to bring to other people.
Right.
My story.
Right, but it is what you need to do. Yeah, it is kind of, right? Because if you want to be the best coach that you can be, then if you're actually working on those habits of making sure you're bringing value every single day, teaching people something every day, giving them something to be motivated about, inspiring them through your words, your actions, the way that you carry yourself, or your conversations with them, that's going to be something that's going to be really important. So that's great.
Thanks.
Okay, cool. Good stuff, guys. All right, that's all I got. I just kind of wanted to hear your feedback. I love your words. Thank you for sharing them with me. Was this helpful?
Super helpful.
Good.
Awesome, Kate. So guys, real quick, sorry, does anybody have any other questions for Kate? That was awesome, wasn't it? So we have 2 real, because I think we're timed here. 2 things coming up, just so everybody's aware. On Monday, we're going to be starting